What are the most common types of properties? Now, this is a very, very broad question because there are so many properties that exist. For the first, most basic one, there's residential properties. Residential properties are where you obviously live. Perhaps it's a property where you stay with your family. You may consider whether or not it's in your name. A lot of the real estate really matters as to who's the owner on title. And what does that mean? That means who is on the deed, who's the owner. This matters when it comes to your estate plan. So when we talk about residential properties, we're talking about properties where it's your primary residence, and it could be a single family home, it could be a townhome, it could be a condo, it could be a number of things. But that's what the residential property is. Another residential property that is sometimes considered in the world of residential could be your primary residence is you could live in what's considered a trailer, or perhaps you're renting the land, but you own the trailer itself. That also matters. I know we have a lot of questions about that as well. So residential really is all encompassing, and you can think about it as your primary residence where you live every day. Now, when we talk about properties, you have to keep in mind that I just mentioned where you actually live. So if you live in a residential place, that's considered residential. This is very different than the second type of property, that is the investment property. Investment properties are essentially properties where you are the owner, but you don't actually live there. It's not your primary residence. Perhaps you rent it out to somebody, or maybe it's a family member you're renting it out to. That happens quite a lot. Maybe it's a building that has 6 or less units. That is still considered an investment property. Plenty of people have much more units in their portfolio or the real estate portfolio. I'm talking to those of you that are considered investors or have more than one home. That's considered an investment property. Those are super important when we talk about estate planning, because you have to understand the difference. And we have different plans for residential versus investment properties for a number of reasons. Another type of property that comes up a lot is commercial. Commercial properties are the ones where you are doing business there. This could be something like a dry cleaner. That's a commercial property. Perhaps you own the building. Some people will, depending on the line of work they're in, you may actually own it. For example, physicians will own sometimes the center where they do medical work. That's a good example. Also, if you, like myself, an attorney, you have other people that rent from you, but you own the actual spot, that's considered commercial. So it's essentially where people are conducting business. It's not their everyday home, but you do have tenants. That is a commercial property. You could also be renting out the commercial property yourself and still be the owner. I've seen plenty of that. That also is considered to be commercial. Another question that comes up in regards to homes is vacation homes. Those are, in a way, considered investments. However, you benefit from them because you're vacationing them yourselves. What's really popular now for vacation homes is Airbnb or VRBO. Those are all really popular and also considered to be in the realm of vacation homes that are being rented. So vacation homes in the sense that you actually live there is one thing, but people are also using their vacation homes to rent those out. So we can help you with all of that, not only for your estate plan, but also the legalities of that comes up a lot. So that's really, really popular. The other one that comes up every so often is land, just basic land. That is a form of property for purposes of estate planning and purposes of real estate. This can just be a lot. Maybe you have this lot, it's a vacant lot, there's no building on it, or perhaps there is something on it that's not a building and it's being used for something, or perhaps it's just being used for extra space. Some people have vacant lots for their own reason, and that is still considered property, and it's considered property for purposes of estate planning. So vacant lots or land, just land that nothing is on, is also considered property for purposes of the question.